Hi everyone, hope you are doing well from wherever you're watching this channel, depending on your time zone. Right now, there is a coup taking place in Niger, whereby now the soldiers are overthrowing a democratically elected president from power. And then President Bazoum came to power in 2011, and this was the first peaceful transition of power in this country, in that country since independence. Throughout, there have been that kind of coup after coup, taking place in that country, and they have never had more peaceful time and have someone coming to power through the ballot. And with all this, we are seeing now everyone is condemning this. The world is condemning what is happening in Niger, right away from the African Union, the United Nations, European Union, and the US. They are condemning this move by the army, and they are demanding the release of President Bazoum. The world still recognizes a man who came to power through a democratic way. Now, with all this, again, we are seeing what soldiers are saying to be the reason why they are removing the democratically elected president from power. According to them, the reasons are poor social and economic governance. That is the reason behind this. But again, if you check into this country's politics, above all, President Bazoum, when he came to power, seemingly had a problem from the beginning, because then he's coming from minority Arab tribe, and now taking over power from a dominant tribe that had already dominated military, they had already dominated businesses, they are already dominating civil service, so they are everywhere. And so he was coming to take over from these people. So you can imagine taking over, you coming from a minority, and then the majority are dominating all those sectors, from military to business to civil service. So right now, these soldiers have announced nationwide curfew. And number two, they're announcing to close their borders. No going out, no coming in. That is the current situation in Niger.
Soldiers fired in the air, sending protesters running. There was apparent hope from the presidency and the West African bloc ECOWAS that a solution could be mediated. Hours later, in a broadcast on national television, military officers announced the removal of President Mohamed Bazoum.
We, the Security Defence Forces, gathered at the National Council for the Safeguard of the Homeland, have decided to put an end to the regime you know. This follows the continuous deterioration of the security situation and poor social and economic management. We affirm our support to all commitments undertaken by Niger.
Now, going by the two things that the military is alleging to be the main reason why they are taking over the power from elected leader, we also want to do a comparison with what is happening also in this country, because they are talking about social and economic instability. But before we go deep into that, just a quick request for those who are watching and you have not subscribed, please consider subscribing to our channel. Thank you so much, and again to all our viewers, please give this video a thumbs up. Thank you so much, and back to this discussion. Now, the truth is that there is no one who can be comfortable to be under the leadership of, army, military. A military takeover is something that no country would desire to have. Civilian people would want to be led by someone whom they can elect, and at any given point they also have a chance to remove that person from power. But then the military remain with the issue of peacekeeping of the country. But now when we have now military taking over, it also becomes a challenge to any country. So there is no one who wants to go in this direction. It is a no-go zone. Because, you know, military, they don't rule by constitution. They rule by sword. That's the reality. And with all this, we are just trying to compare what is happening in this country. Leaders have been calling for dialogue between the opposition and the government side. We have seen the international community also calling for the same. We have seen the effort from South Africa, from Tanzania, from Nigeria, trying to call for peace dialogue, ceasefire. But seemingly, we have a president who is not ready for that move. He does not want to go into such kind of arrangement, a dialogue. He don't want. He has been dodging from Ramaphosa, who made a request to mediate. He dodged. The Tanzania president was here. In fact, he's one who invited, then dodged. The former Nigerian president was in this country. Again, in all attempts, it ended up the wrong direction. So seemingly, ni mtu amekuwa mgumu kukubali ya kwamba kuna shida Kenya. Why are Kenyans on the street? It is because of high cost of living. That's the economy. The finance bill. It is a headache for everyone. That means Kenyans are feeling that if this finance bill is going to be allowed, then it is going to be poisonous to our pocket and our economy. Because of this, people are demonstrating, demanding William Ruto to repeal that Finance Act. With all this, Ruto is trying to use police to stop demonstrators and to bring peace. And the reality is that you cannot use gun to bring peace. Peace cannot be achieved through gun. It's only through dialogue. Kenyans are already talking. They talked in public participation. They said 70% of Kenyans, the finance bill is a bad one. Ruto does not want dialogue. He wants his way. Now, what people have been saying is that Ruto has time now because seemingly it is controllable. Right now he can talk to the people. But if he allows the situation to continue, then it escalates more. It will reach a time when he cannot control the people, when he cannot govern. And also same Raila Odinga. For now, Raila can call for mass action and he can recall. But it can reach a point when Kenyans will be pissed off to an extent, even they will not listen to Raila Odinga when he call off demonstrations. If we reach to this point, it means the country will be becoming ungovernable. Once it is ungovernable, then that alone is enough to push the people, you know, the army, the military now to come in to offer a solution. What solution will be there? This will be a takeover, because it will be seemingly be like Ruto has failed to govern, and once it has failed, military will come in. They take over, maybe they will lead for 6 months or so, and then if they are willing to allow another election to come and then transition take place. Yes, this can happen in this country. Because we are just living here on earth where we are seeing things happening in other countries. And so, if Ruto is serious about sorting out the problem in this country, he better also watch what is happening in other countries. Yes, for Niger, there are other issues. And if you also do your comparison, Ruto is not coming from majority tribe. The only good thing is that at least when Moi was in power, he put more Kalenjin in good positions. Wame dominating army, wame dominating police. And this is the only good thing on the side of William Ruto. But if it was not for so, then he will also be in that terrible situation. And you can imagine why Moi decided to put more people from his tribe in those positions. Fear of a coup against him. But then the issue is that without other major tribes, Ruto is not coming from majority tribe. The majority tribes in Kenya are Kikuyu and Luyas only. So if you have one of these, then you are lucky. This can also explain the reason why Ruto has to put in more in terms of appointment from Rift Valley, from Mount Kenya region. You'll find there's more of people from Mount Kenya region, because then you have to have one of these tribes. Because Raila Odinga on this side, he has Luyas. Luyas bring in solid support, which gives more mileage to Raila Odinga politics. And he has always played it very smart, and that's what has helped him to remain with this tribe, Luya. Because we cannot just lie that our politics is not tribal, it is tribal. Why should we fear talking about it? Our politics is tribal. Our tribes matter when it comes to election, and it has always reflected on ballot. So with all this, you will find, for example, with the issue of talks, the people who are holding Ruto hostage again is people like Kimani Ichung'wah, Gachagua, because they think about 2032. And they feel if they allow a dialogue, what they think in their mind is that Raila is looking for handshake, which is wrong. They think if handshake comes in, they will be kicked out. So they are holding their community as the only tool to use it against Ruto. Either you are with us, or if not, with all these things, Ruto has failed to sort out the problem economically we are facing. Today now, they are glorifying corruption, because all those people who had corruption cases, they have been dropped. Now they are serving in government. You look at how the country is working now. Police brutality. Police are beating people. The army is also watching. Military is watching. Why are Kenyans being brutalized in the hands of police? You might think they are supporting everything. They are seeing a genuine reason from the people when they are saying that they are hungry. But then the question is, why is the president giving an order so that when you complain that you are hungry, the only response is a bullet? Not everyone in the military is in agreement with this. So with all these failures and mismanagement, poor governance, it can also lead to that direction. So the president has to think, before you glorify police for butchering Kenyans, beating and shooting, you also have to think, is it right? Is it humane? Is it humane? We are seeing a failed government, because you cannot unleash police against people who are just hungry and demonstrating because they have a genuine reason. That is a fail in governance. You can't govern by sword, but by constitution. Because now if you are using sword, then you are welcoming in the idea of military. And now Ruto, you don't have any military background. It also becomes a problem. So with all this, if he will fail, it can reach to a level where we can have such things in this country. So you better get the problem, get to understand where the problem is, and cure this problem to avoid a country called Kenya going into the Niger way.